Welcome to the Yo-11 podcast. Yo-11 podcast, mostly Vegas, no BS casino experience, and more. Today's episode's Rewards Showdown, Rio versus Fontainebleau. This is episode 98, season 3 of the Yo-11 podcast. Michael Traeger is a casino and travel loyalty expert who also helps people turn their travel dreams into reality. And now, your host, Michael Traeger. How's it going, Michael?
It is going pretty okay. It's okay. Pretty good, as Larry David would say. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
But yes, you know what though? I was before our before show conversation when we were saying no BS. And I think that's actually something that we've been priding ourselves about a lot, on the show here, because I think we really don't try to do a lot of shock and awe, even though I'm really wanting to do a thumbnail with
Yep.
but oh no, wait.
Oh yeah. You won't believe this happened.
You won't believe this happened in Las Vegas. Oh my God. You won't believe, but we just don't we just don't do that because I just feel that isn't, I think that isn't really normative or what I consider to be indicative of what normal stays are. I know there are some people who seem to always have some kind of problem, with their stays, and and it just seems a little interesting, and I often start to wonder, is it the stays or is it the person when there's always some kind of controversy with a hotel and things like that?
It's definitely the person all the time.
Well, I wanted to say we got a wonderful review, which made my week because I'm going through a dog sorrow week. My wonderful Mr. Leo is coming to the end of his wonderful life. This is a dog who I adopted from 2 years old, who was a rescue dog who I adopted in New Hampshire. He's moved with me and lived in Amsterdam and London and Palm Springs and is now with me in Charlotte. So he's had a very exciting life. He also does have a dog passport. This is also a dog that's been on more varieties of airplanes than most humans, including an Air France 747, A330-200 and 300 by Delta, as well as 767s on Deltas, which I think were Dash 300 and Dash 400s, an A320, and a few other planes. So, anyway, did I mention the A330s, Dash 200 and 300?
I believe so.
Okay, anyway, Leo's been on a lot of planes. He likes his planes.
Yeah, he's definitely been on more planes than I have, that's for sure.
Yeah, so anyway, so it's been a tough week, but this really made my week, and thank you so much, Mr. Three Collarbones. I enjoyed watching your video. Out of all the Wynn Encore in-room dining reviews I watched on YouTube, you guys are on point on top of every food blogger that did a video. Thank you so much. I work there, which would be Wynn Las Vegas in IRD. By the way, in a travel agency business, we always refer to it as IRD, which stands for in-room dining. Did you know that, Movestro?
I caught on when I read the comment that that's what it stood for.
Yeah, it's sort of a cool, like the cool kids say, like how's the IRD at the property? Of course, if you use IRD in your YouTube title, that probably won't really help very much with the algorithm. After COVID shutdown, many guests that I encountered came to Vegas that were disappointed with room service to go boxes from other Las Vegas Strip hotels. One of the reasons a guest will come back to Wynn Encore is due to in-room dining table delivery. This is cool. Okay, listen up, Josh Duffy. Steak nachos is the number one seller for Wynn Encore in-room dining. I did not know that. Did you know that, Movestro?
I had not even heard of steak nachos before we did the in-room dining episode.
You know what? Your honesty is always welcome. And guess the other thing that I was, because we remember I was on this, I have a hot dog fetish. The hot dogs were taken off. That doesn't sound good.
Wow. Someone's going to isolate just the audio of you saying, I have a hot dog fetish, and put it to a dance track. But okay.
Yeah. Hey, let's do that. Maybe that'll be one of our other things that we'll do. The hot dogs were taken off the menus about 10 years ago because it wasn't selling. Thank you guys for staying at Win. So that's awesome. What an awesome comment. Thank you so much. It really means a lot when we get a comment like that, because we had so much fun with that video and the concept of that, and we're going to be doing more videos like that. We just really enjoyed it, and that commentary was great. So we thank you for all your comments, and it's really great. We'll get to more comments next week. So anyway, that's quite the opener. Quite the opener today. But that's all I got for you so far.
It was interesting how that whole concept came about. It all started with the idea of comparing hot dogs between Casino Royale and Wynn, and then it became this awesome in-room dining review. So it's funny to see how things start off as a funny idea and then become something even better.
That's right, because I wanted to do a hot dog challenge of comparing the hot dogs at Casino Royale and what did we say? Casino Royale, Slots of Fun, and like Charlie's, and also the Coney dog. I think there were 4 of them that were in there. And I think what we decided was that so many of those hot dogs are just purchased hot dogs, like distribution hot dogs, like regular distribution hot dogs, that it wouldn't be really that interesting of a challenge.
Especially if they're all plain. It's just like, yep, that's Hebrew National, all right.
Yeah. So I think the steak nachos was better. I think we need to do. We're gonna be doing more food stuff. I'm always looking for an angle. And remember, you got to get Karen and Graham on the show.
Oh my God! Right. Okay, we'll do that after episode 100. We'll do that for sure.
Okay. Yes. So we are finishing the season with episode 100. Episode 100 will be next week, and then I'm going to move to another state, more south of my current state.
Even more south.
Even more south. Yes, North exactly. Carolina. So what do we got in the news today?
All right. Well, it's a pretty awesome one, because it means that if you book a stay at Golden Nugget, you won't have to pay any resort fees up until June of next year, or July or something. It's in the news story. Let's get to the news and views. In an announcement sure to thrill even the grinchiest of travelers and vacationers, the Golden Nugget has unveiled a little bit of Christmas magic with an offer called Santa's Early Gift. From now until June 30th, 2025, guests can enjoy stays at Golden Nugget without the burden of resort fees. Yes, you heard that right. No resort fee on all stays during this period. But there's a catch. To take advantage of this fantastic deal, you must secure your booking by 11:59 p.m. on July 31st, 2024. Don't miss this golden opportunity to experience the luxury and excitement of the Golden Nugget without any added costs. And don't worry, despite the waiver of resort fees, all the amenities typically covered by this fee will still be included in your stay. But that's not all. The Golden Nugget is sweetening the deal with additional perks. Guests can enjoy free parking, and for those who book online, even more rewards are waiting for you. It's a deal that keeps on giving, encouraging guests to return again and again, as multiple bookings are allowed. June 25th is known as Leon Day, which is the halfway to Christmas mark. This may be what inspired the public relations folks at Golden Nugget. That being said, if you'd like to take advantage of this deal, remember to book by July 31st, 2024. And that's going to do it for the news. And now for the views. Michael, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that this is pretty. So what they're doing, you need to book by July 31st, and that means you can book it through June 30th of the next year. So it's about 11-month booking window. Very cool, to take advantage of no resort fees. So that's great. And there's another caveat here. which I think is really important, and that is the resort fee amenities still included.
Yep. So not losing a thing. It's basically no resort fees, but you still get the stuff that you would
And for
normally
people
get.
that don't understand the importance of that, Wynn Las Vegas waives resort fees on comp rooms,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't get the resort fee amenities. What does that mean? You don't get free Wi-Fi.
Oh, you gotta have free
Remember, I was
Wi-Fi.
complaining about that when we were recording. Now, it's true, a host can take your Wi-Fi off on the back end, or you could use your points to pay for the Wi-Fi. But the problem is, it's like I giveth and I taketh.
Mm.
Uh, because they're giving you no resort fee on a comp room. Very nice, very nice. And all comp rooms at Wynn have no resort fee. It has nothing to do with status. But the problem is, if you wanted to use Wi-Fi, you would still have to pay for the Wi-Fi. And then, and if you're just going on a marketing offer and not dealing with a host, the chance of getting that Wi-Fi comped as a discretionary basis is unusual. Now, I will caveat this with the 5G and 5G plus reception and repeaters at Wynn Las Vegas are very, very good. On a usual trip where I'm not recording any live video, or we're not recording video or live streaming or a combination thereof, I will just use the hotspot from my phone, the 5G, for like email and other stuff, and it works perfectly. But on this trip where we were doing like some really good video stuff and other things we were doing, I don't remember exactly. I mean, but I just we thought it's just better to use the Wi-Fi, because sometimes the 5G has certain kinds of delays and stuff on it which might impact that kind of thing. But that's important. I think that the amenities are included is really the right way to do it. So that's very cool.
And what I really like about this is that people can book multiple stays and still get the no resort fee offer as long as they make all their bookings before uh, as they go online and make the reservations before July sometime of this year.
And I
But
bet some of those reservations that you book, we're not talking comp rooms here, revenue rooms, I think they are refundable. The usual 72-hour refundable reservations. They might have some non-refundable rooms, but they are. So, and I'm talking off the top of my head. Think about it. If you book placeholder reservations that are refundable, even if you have to give a one-night deposit, if you can still cancel those,
mhm.
it's totally fine to book out a couple of dates, but that's saving the resort fee. And of course, this really does encourage you to look at dates in which the room rates are very, very low. Because remember, this is the really tricky thing about Las Vegas, that you could get a room rate for $9 or $20 or $30, but the resort fee will be $40 or $50. So the resort fee will sometimes be more than a midweek room. So this becomes extremely powerful if you can find like midweek room rates that are 10, 20, 30, $40 without the resort fee, then you're really paying that midweek room rate plus tax. What a great deal.
Yeah, and if you like want to go stay there 4 times before June of next year, as long as you make all your bookings before July of this year, that's 4 stays with no resort fees. That's pretty dope in my book.
Yeah,
As the kids would
pretty
say.
dope, as the Gen Z kids say.
That's dope. All right, let's get on with the teas.
Well, basically, we have links in the show notes. The wonderful Melts of Vegas did a little overview of Rio Rewards and Fontainebleau. Fontainebleau?
Blur.
Blue.
Blur.
We should have. You need to have a button you can
Blur.
press every time where Frenchie can say that. Can't you do that on your control panel?
Maybe. I mean, well, yeah, I probably can. Probably can.
You need to do it. So every time I go fountain,
Blur.
and you could.
Yeah, I can put it
Blur.
right here on my stream deck. It shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. We gotta get on that shit. Okay. because because I love the way he pronounces it. So anyway, we're looking today. We want you to know that there are two semi-comprehensive articles. I think we have one or two little updates to do, but we have two semi-comprehensive articles on Rio Rewards and Fontainebleau Rewards. Fontainebleau. You see, there we go again. And Mark Meltzer did those, and we're just sort of looking at those side by side. We've covered some of this before. So in Mark's Rio Rewards overview, he likes to point out that Azul seems to be the level that's going to be your sweet spot, and that's the increase from Rouge to Azul, and that's mostly because Azul is the lowest level for guests to receive a complimentary resort fee. So that's really the first tier level that they're giving a complimentary resort fee. And I'm sort of amazed that that is actually true. So that's something cool to look at. Now, some of the other benefits are smaller, but I mean, that's sort of interesting. Mark also reminds us that Rio Rewards points expire after 12 months of account inactivity, and it isn't based on a calendar date and is slightly different from most Las Vegas casino rewards programs. Inactivity means there were no points earned on an account during a certain time frame. And if Rio rewards are converted to worst name in the world, Frio play, I hate that. I really don't like Frio play. They will expire. It's like free play, but it's Frio play. They'll expire in 30 days. And Rio Rewards works on a traditional calendar year. The tier level resets at the beginning of tier on January 1st. Unused tier benefits expire at the end of the year on December 31st. That's sort of interesting. It's interesting to know the calendar because Caesars at MGM, the earning ends on December 31st. 31st. The status ends on January 31st, and your new year starts on February 1st. So that's sort of interesting that they're doing that. And then we were glancing a little bit, at Mark's overview on Fontainebleau, and we do think, Mark thinks, and I is the place to be, especially because of the resort fees and also the $150 dining credit and $150 spa credit, but really those no resort fees. The other thing with Fontainebleau, which has the interesting complimentary ATM fees, I don't know. My bank credits my ATM fees, so I don't have to worry about that. But I think that's sort of an interesting. That's an interesting one, and I think actually their overall, their overall benefit scheme is really really nice with the complimentary late checkout that's codified. Also, the fact that the level before silver has a complimentary cup of coffee. Did you know that?
I did not.
I think that's very cool. That's a really cool benefit. And getting so that's good. Now remember, you can still tier match, and Fontainebleau extended the tier match until September. I so here's the strategy thing with Fontainebleau. I just did the tier match there. You can do the tier match, and then you can activate your new card. I matched Win Black to uh Royal at Fontainebleau. And this I matched Win Black that was actually a tier matched Win Black.
Mm.
So I was Win Platinum. I tier matched to Win Black, and then I used the Win Black to tier match to Royal. That gets me a $250 dining credit and a $250 spa credit. But here's the thing that's interesting that does not have to be used until the 31st of December. Since I originally the tier match was ending right away, but then now it's ending in September before my next planned September trip. And I wasn't sure if I would have another trip between my last trip in September. So I did the match, and you activate the match. The way you activate it is you just put your card in a slot machine. You don't play or anything. That the minute you put it in, it's like, woo, welcome, Michael. And it says, you've been awarded a $250 dining credit and a $250 spa credit. And that's it. It's activated. Your rewards are there. I did not play. The reason I did not play is because I would like to play significantly, as I always say, the first time I play at FB. And because I had not had a really amazing gambling trip and win, I was not willing to allocate more bankroll to FB to play. So I decided to not play at all. And I will play when I'm there on my next visit. And I did not use the dining credit or the spa credit because I think it's always bad to do that before you play or not. I just don't, it's not worth it. I couldn't have used it anyway. I didn't have the timing. Of course, I ran into somebody from the Facebook group in the Baccarat room there, and we had a nice chat, and she was about to play Baccarat. And of course, she told me afterwards that she had an amazing run at Baccarat. So of course, I'm now really sad that I didn't stay and play at Fontainebleau. But that's my suggestion. So this is cool. You can check out the overview on both programs. And what else was Mark saying? Unused blow points, play points, and dining credits and spa credits expire 13 months after their earned date. That's interesting. Tier status changes on January 1st, and tier credits reset to 0. So this is another January 1st. So that's sort of interesting. Anyway, this is all in the article. I'm actually sort of surprised that FB is doing the January 1st thing and not the January 31st thing, because their software seems to mimic Wynn Las Vegas. But anyway, that is the story, and that's pretty cool. I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into these. I've been really sort of busy lately, but at least this gives you a good overview, and we've got it out there, and it's always nice to have something good to reference in writing. And of course, correct us on anything we're wrong about. Come to the Facebook group and discuss those things a little bit more. We would love to, we'd love to just discuss it more, and it's going to be very interesting. And I'm very, very excited to play at FB. And I wish things had gone better for me gambling wise at Wynn, because I would have probably enjoyed a good couple of hours of Baccarat there. But hey, something to look forward to. And who knows, sometimes I plan a trip when I'm not sure I'm doing a trip. So we'll see.
All right. When being that you just looked these over, what would you say for like someone who has, sucky gameplay, not sucky gameplay, but like, what do you think is the easiest entry if someone was starting off with one of these rewards programs, Rio Rewards or Fontainebleau, and their budget wasn't, you know what? I think I just answered my own question. It's going to be Rio Rewards. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. You see, but I'm not sure. And I'm going to tell you why. Because setting aside Rio has an offer match where they match your offers from another casino. But say you had a small budget and you were a slot player, I think that you're better off concentrating that smaller budget slot play at FB. Because the data points that I've gotten from people is that even with very limited play, they're getting about 50% off the room rates at FB. Okay, you could say that's still going to be an okay room rate, but yes, it's this brand new bougie luxury hotel. Rio's rooms midweek are as low as $19.
Well, it's a big contrast between Rio and Fontainebleau.
So think of it this way. You do a little bit of play at FB. Maybe you do a little bit play more. Maybe you're holding your own and you do a little play. You can get a $300 and some odd room down to $130, $140. Okay, that's pretty good. Rio, you're going to get midweek rooms of $20, $30, $40, $50 down to comp. I'm not sure. You've got to wait, because what's your value? What's your value that you're getting back from FB? And I think FB is not doing as well as they should be, which means that they're going to potentially be more generous, or they're going to test additional generosity. Once again, this goes into the big game of play kind of thing. You need to get your play in. So what does that mean? Let's pretend you only had a budget of $1,000. Using $1,000 could be $100, could be $500. You need to have that play last, right? You need to have something that, you need to have that play last so that you can at least get a certain number of tier points. So obviously taking $1,000 and playing $200 a spin is probably not the most brilliant idea. Now, it would be a brilliant idea if you take $1,000 and you play 200 a spin and you hit a jackpot for 25,000 and you put 20,000 in your pocket and then use the other 5,000 to seed your first day of play. But more likely, you're going to wind up with zero.
Yeah.
And you're not a lot of tier points because you're going to get, your coin in will be close to $1,000. So your goal, your goal is to take that $1,000 and have significantly more than $1,000 coin in. So especially for slot players. So if a slot player does $1 a spin, to keep the math easy, right? So $1,000 coin in will be 1,000 spins. Whereas 250, 250 a spin would be 4 spins. But the chances are in that 1,000 spins of $1, it's a 10% house edge. You're still going to wind up with, you're going to have $900 left over there that you can continue playing. So that's sort of, the very simple theory of what you're looking at. Now, of course, there is the variance factor, but you need, so I would say if you're going to do some minimal slot play, I think I would test it. I think I would go towards Fontainebleau because you're on the strip and you have a chance of getting some good deals at a really good resort. And if you wanted to then on another trip use that good deal at FB, that's fine. And then you could just choose midweek dates at Rio that are $19 or $25 a night, and just stay there and play a little bit and then see what happens. Anyway, that's my thought process. I would concentrate more on FB.
All right. Good to know.
But both are good. I think both need more business. So both are going to be more generous. It's just obviously being more, the room rates at FB are way inflated. More so because their room rate is more than Crockfords and Wynn in a lot of cases, though I haven't looked at this in depth recently. So there's a lot of wiggle room there for casino marketing to give really good discounts on the room rate or comp rooms. Whereas with Rio, Rio is going to be a very, very easy comp room just because the rooms are so inexpensive midweek. But anyway, that's my initial thought. I'd be curious what other people think, but that's how I would approach it.
All right.
As a slot player, as a slot tight tables, I have to think about it a little bit because Rio's points earning is much better for tables, and not so sure about the earning on that's hard. But also, quite honestly, if you only have a very small budget and are going to do a very little amount of play, a very little amount of table play at a low average bet is highly unlikely to yield very much of anything.
Well put advice. I appreciate all of it. Before we get going, is there anything you want to share? Anything on your mind?
Yeah, just so because we're doing 2 a week and the last episode was a little short, so I saw something interesting today, and these are things that blow my mind. I don't know, but talking about all of this tier stuff, both 7-star status and Noir status, 7-star being the top Caesar status and Noir being the top MGM status, need to be approved. The main differential between them is that you need to earn 150,000 tier credits for 7-star, and then you can be approved. For Noir, the tier credits vary. You just don't really know what it is. It's a little bit of a moving target and changes. So the interesting thing about it is somebody wrote in a Facebook group that they reached 150,000 tier points and they had 7, and then the app changed to 7 stars pending, which meant it was pending approval. And there's something with Caesars where they need to know what your occupation is, which might already be in there if you get CTR'd. That's another conversation. There's an article on that on TravelZork. And the thing about it is, so she advised what her job was or her income, he or she. And then she reached out to her host who said it was sent up to corporate, for the approval. And then noticed a few days later on the app that it just said Diamond Elite. It no longer said 7 stars pending, and it hadn't changed to 7 stars yet. And I often wonder, I often wonder why people are asking this in a Facebook group, because you spoke to your host and he did it. Why don't you just ask your fucking host? This guy, you're 7 stars. But there's a couple of takeaways here. These were my main takeaways here, that you should not be going for top tier in a program that needs approval unless you have a very good relationship with your host. Okay, because should have someone to speak to talk about this before you expend all of the effort to get to that top tier, to find out if there is a reason why they might not approve you. Caesars is known to not approve you if you are I've heard sometimes sports bettors who earn all their tier points for sports bettors, sometimes video poker. I don't know how true that is. Maybe it's full pay video poker. Sometimes people who've made 7 stars only from these crazy multipliers, like the 10 times multiplier, which, even though it's capped at 25 or 30,000 points, you might not, it's much easier to make 750,000 tier points when you're doing it only on the days that are 10 times multiplier. So these are things to keep in mind when you're doing it. When you're dealing with a program that does not automatically upgrade you, you are at a risk. So you need to figure out how to mitigate that risk. And one way to mitigate that risk is to have a relationship with a host that you can talk about with, saying, hey, I'm looking to make 7 stars this year, and I've always been Diamond Elite, but I'm going to be using some of the multipliers. Or how does this look? Or is there a chance I won't be approved? There are also other reasons why you won't get approved, like if you bounce checks and if you don't pay your markers. I think that seems rather obvious, because if you don't pay the casino, they're not going to want to make you a top tier player. So that is sort of interesting to do. Interesting to think about. But it's also interesting to think about, you're going into a heavy risk situation here whenever you're spending money to get tier points and gambling to do that on the goal to get this top tier status, which needs to be approved. So you need to figure out a way to balance that risk. I personally am not in favor of any program where they need to approve your top tier. I like it where, if you earn like Win Black, if you earn what you need from Win Black, you become Win Black. And I think Fontainebleau is the same way with Royal. So it's just something to keep in mind, because you could be very disappointed having worked so hard to get the status and not be approved. So make sure you're thinking about this before you go to it. You should have a plan. Anyway, that's all I leave you with today.
All right, and that's going to do it for this episode. Luxury travel booking, TravelZork.travel. Visit us at TravelZork.travel to plan your next amazing vacation, not just to Las Vegas, but anywhere in the world. And please join the conversation on social media. You can find us easily. All social platforms are at TravelZork. We'll see you next time.